Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, and how we're going to fix both of those things together. The content that I'm going to show you tonight is yet another innovative idea outside the box from the gun controllers being brought to us as a suggestion trial balloon by the media. Now they want to mandate magazine disconnect switches. You can't make this stuff up. First, they sue Glock for something a criminal does to their firearm to change it. Then they want to go after all the magazine disconnects and make those mandatory through a consumer safety board. Guys, you can't make this stuff up, and some very familiar villains are about to make an appearance. Everything will be linked in the description box below. Can't wait to hear what you guys think, and of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, because we are spreading freedom from coast to coast and border to border, and thank you in advance for that consideration. And guys, one of the things as I spin this up, you could literally change this fight for the better, you sitting there right now, if you can get involved in the industry. More people, more innovation, more prices getting lowered, more availability of services. Guys, if you are looking for a career on something you do anyway, from modifying your own firearms like you already do, Sonoran Desert Institute can help you make that into a career. There's a link in the description box below. SDI sends you everything you need. You get to do it from your house, from the comfort of your own home. You can learn about firearms, gunsmithing, ballistics, woodworking and finishes, shooting sports management, both sides of the business, and drones. And you're helping the two-way fight by providing new blood into the industry. Guys, this is an opportunity for you. There's a link right down there. At least know your options. And thank you to them for making this content possible. All right, guys, listen. Oh, it never ends with these people. Again, Trump won, Republicans took the House and the Senate. All that's going to do is make them shift their tactics. They are not going away. This fight is not over, so we might as well put the pedal to the metal and just send them packing. Okay, let me basically show you the overview, what's going on here. A simple device could help curb accidental gun deaths, but most firearms don't have it. Now they're talking about magazine disconnects. In short, it prevents a gun being able to be fired if the magazine is outside of it. It prevents the idea of a round being in the chamber and still being discharged without the magazine in it. That's the whole concept of this piece of equipment, okay? But that's not where they're going to go. But before we get into that, let me scroll all the way to the bottom, because this is really important that I show you exactly who we're talking about here is behind this. This is one of the villains in the frickin' gun world, and you need to know the name. Quote, "There are pressure points to change the industry and get them to make the product safer," said Jonathan Lowy, founder and president of Global Action on Gun Violence, who has represented dozens of shooting victims. The federal liability shield, quote, "took away a pressure point, and that stopped some of the progress we were seeing." Now, why is that important? Well, Jonathan Lowy is the American who worked with Everytown for Gun Safety with this litigation, quit Everytown for Gun Safety, started the Global Action of Gun Violence, partnered with the Mexican state, and is now suing the gun manufacturers. You know, that whole Glock, Smith & Wesson versus New Mexico lawsuit that we've been dealing with in the federal law court systems? This guy, Jonathan Lowy, this is who it is. The guy who's talking about pressure points. Yeah, this guy can take a... Yeah, we'll just leave that there. Now let's get back to the point. I wanted to make sure that you knew who we were dealing with, because that guy is a villain of the anti-gun world. But let's continue. I got to get back up to the front. Sorry, squirrel. All right. Now back to the magazine disconnect switches. And I want to show you where they're completely disconnected from reality on this, okay? None of them realize it, talking about all these people who were involved in tragic accidents. There is still a single live round in each gun's chamber, bullets that will kill their neighbor, their Marine buddy, and their grandson's friend when they pull the trigger. It's a danger that gun makers have been aware of since the advent of the first semi-automatic pistols, yet it continues to kill. They're trying to lay accidents, again, at the feet of gun manufacturers, and in some cases, the individuals who are using those firearms inadvertently, okay? So that would be like you if you're in a blue state. So, Gun Safety 101, which every single person goes through in our gun world when you are either trained or you're at a gun range or your parents are teaching you, every single one, there are 4 rules. One of those rules is every gun is always loaded, and never point a gun at something you are not willing to destroy. You follow those rules, you'll never need a magazine disconnect switch, because accidents can happen. But if you follow the safety rules that are universal in our industry, and if gun controllers took a second to realize that we teach every single person that, they wouldn't need these stupid little pieces of equipment that prevent the gun from working. That's the entire point. We use education, they use the brunt force of pressure points and litigation. All right, let's keep going. This is why we fight, guys, right here. Since 2000, at least 277 people have been killed in gun accidents when the shooter believed the weapon was unloaded because the magazine had been dislodged or removed. Again, this is a lack of safety, a lack of protocol, and a lack of awareness and knowledge. This is not the gun's fault. Just like when criminals convert Glocks to full autos, that is not the gun's fault, that is the criminal's fault. There's either negligence on the accidental side, which is unfortunate and terrible, or there's criminal activity on the conversion side, which is also bad. Anyway, let's continue. More than 100 years ago, gun makers devised a way to prevent this type of accident from ever happening. A small metal piece known as a magazine disconnect keeps a pistol from firing if the magazine is removed. Many gun safety advocates see the device as a simple solution to foreseeable tragedy, one that would work automatically with no user effort or knowledge required, putting the onus on the manufacturer, not on the responsibility of the individual. You catching the themes there? The things that we do in our 2A space and our 2A culture by ourselves, putting all the responsibility on the awareness and the knowledge of the individual, and theirs is the government will mandate it so you don't have to think about it. Which one's safer, you think? Yeah, ours is. Let's continue. But gun makers don't have to include the device in their weapons, so for the most part, they don't. Yeah, there's a reason. I'm about to show you a case study of what happened when Smith & Wesson acquiesced to the gun controllers in the Clinton administration. Watch, this is a pretty complete article, and they're always linked. Quote, "It would be a design defect in any other conceivable product in the American marketplace," said Gary Klein, a former Assistant Attorney General of Massachusetts and an advocate for safer guns, in other words, a gun controller. "We wouldn't tolerate this in a toaster. The federal government regulates the sale and purchase of firearms, but unlike the vast majority of consumer goods, wait for it, guns are not overseen by a national product safety agency, and when accidents do occur, a federal law shields gun makers from liability if the gun was used unlawfully. The same attack, the PLCAA, the Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act, just a different door they're choosing. They keep on getting smacked on the front end on liability, so they're going to go the other way and try to do consumer safety boards on guns. That's exactly what you're seeing. They are introducing the idea of a national consumer safety board, which focuses on things like conversion devices from Glocks and magazine disconnects in all semi-automatics. That's what they're pitching at. This is not about the 277 people who've died in 25 years. This is about a control board of which they're going to try to push because it's common sense and every other manufacturer industry has it. That's what you're looking at. They're telling you their playbook right here. Let's continue, though. For many, having a bullet ready to fire at a moment's notice, even without a magazine in place, is seen as a benefit, not a drawback. It is a benefit. That's the whole point. It's always ready to do damage. It's always ready to do the work. If you have the knowledge and are armed with information and you're aware and follow the safety rules, nothing will ever happen. The point is not to inhibit the weapon from actually doing what you need to do when you need it in an emergency. The point is to encourage and empower people with knowledge. That's the point. It's a very effective tool. Just like fire, as George Washington says, it's a useful tool but a dangerous master. He was, of course, referring to government. I'm referring to the idea of knowledge with a firearm. Okay, let's keep going. Quote, "If the magazine gets dislodged or damaged and you can't function a firearm in a life or death situation using a firearm for self-defense, that's a significant problem," said Larry Keane, General Counsel and Chief Lobbyist for the NSSF. Ironically, Larry Keane is also the guy who wrote and passed the PLCAA. Just saying, all these things are all tied together, and he's got a very good point. And to the gun rights side of the argument, NBC, to their credit, did put this in here. "People have violated the cardinal rules of gun safety, that all guns should be treated as if they are loaded and should never be pointed at someone the user does not intend to shoot." 100% correct. We can circumvent all of these problems through education and knowledge and empowerment. We don't need a government nanny state to come in and say, well, you're too stupid to figure this out, so in order to save lives, we're going to make things not work because we can figure it out because you can't learn. That's what you're dealing with here. Okay, and I've got everything linked right down there if you want to look at the entire article, because it's a pretty lengthy article. I've only put out the important points. But guys, make no mistake, they are going the angle of consumer safety boards. They originally started in the early 2020s with the Biden administration. When Biden was inaugurated for about 2 years, they pivoted everything around gun safety was a health problem, which is why they tried to do Health and Human Services, why they tried to do all these different health apparatus around gun control. Well, now that didn't work, so now it's pivoting to consumer safety boards. That's exactly what they're going to do. I'm telling you, that's what they're going to do. These people are easy. They tell you their rules, their playbook, right in front through their child balloons in the media. But that's why we're here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field. Did I land that plane? And I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.